The ARCA Racing Series, presented by Menards, has been brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards. Hers, forever good. And by Lucas Oil. Made in America, sold to the world.
The crowd filling in here today at Salem Speedway for the Kentuckiana Ford Dealers 200 at Salem Speedway. I'm ready for this one. We're moments away from going green here at this racetrack. In this place, it looks symmetrical, but it's not, Jim.
Bob, it's everything but. Turns 1 and 2 is a whole different ball game. At turns 3 and 4, you better run the rail or you're going to get passed. And there's going to be some lapping and tire strategies. It all going to play out. And you know what the teams are telling me? 75 different versions of what they think might happen here today.
This is what's interesting about this racetrack. I think by the end of this race, every single car in the starting field will have the coveted Salem stripe. They talk about it in NASCAR at Darlington. Well, the same is held here at at Salem for the ARCA Racing Series. Folks, we're just moments away from the cars rolling off here at Salem Speedway, and we're excited to have this one. Let's go down to pre-race ceremonies for the famous words in all of racing.
Kentuckiana Ford Dealers 200, our Grand Marshal, President of Eddie Gilstrap Motors, Steve Motzinger.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Listen to that 700 horsepower coming to life today in southern Indiana. Riley Herbst getting set to do battle here, and a great field of cars here at this racetrack. And we want to make sure that everybody joins in on the conversation in social media. Facebook at MavTV, Twitter the same. Use the hashtags MavTV and hashtag Motorsports Network. We like to converse with you. When we go to commercial break, that's what we do. By the way, Dale Jr. chiming in. He just checked in with his driver, Josh Berry, talking about running the ARCA Racing Series for the first time with Chad Bryant's racing team. And we'll be talking about that a lot throughout the show. Josh Berry on the outside of the front row.
Who's that?
That's the famous pork tenderloin.
That's Bob Dillner.
At Salem Speedway. That was my pre-race meal here, getting set to call all the racing action with you, Jim. You guys are killing me.
Nice.
Oh, so much fun here. We are happy to be back and honestly honored to be here with the ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards on Mav TV this year, the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge. And let's take a look at the 411 for the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge. 11 races, tracks 1 mile or less in length. That is the key for this challenge and this point system that they have here. And of course, Zane Smith leading that challenge coming into this race because there's only been one race on a short track. Michael Self, though, he's your ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards total points leader after 2 races.
And the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge will let you have a mulligan. Only 10 of the 11 races will count towards the championship, and it's only race points that we'll use here. So when we look at these cars on the short tracks here on Nav TV, it's going to be awesome to watch lap after lap. And Sheldon Creed, a 2nd place finish and a 3rd place finish at Daytona and Nashville. That kid is on fire.
We'll have a new points leader by the time this race is done. But this kid is simply flat out impressive. 15 years old, Chandler Smith yesterday in qualifying wins his 2nd straight pole award.
The General Tire Pole Award was something that a lot of teams want to capture because a grand goes with it. This picture, it's a repeat. Chandler won the last race on the short track. This 15-year-old was the guy everybody's been watching. Can he keep the speed up? That's the big question once we get green flag racing.
Well, we're just moments away from doing that, so let's take a look at the Can-Am starting lineup here for the ARCA Racing Series at Salem. Chandler Smith and Josh Berry on the front row, Dale Jr.'s driver.
And Zane Smith, a race winner at Nashville, MDM Motorsports, along with Gus Dean, the runner-up here 1 year ago.
Going back a little bit further in the field, Christian Eckes. This race last year led the most laps, came up a little bit short. Chase Purdy has 1 start here in the fall.
Tire strategy right there. Sheldon Creed, a lot of off-road experience, but that means he has to keep that car true, not sideways through these corners here at Salem.
If you look at this starting lineup here today, so many big names in the field. Travis Braden, he's a former ARCA Series Super Series champion. Natalie Decker, Brett Holmes has a top 5 finish here. But how far can you start in this field today and still win after 200 laps?
Well, last night, Kyle Busch did it from 32nd. I'd say anybody has a shot here because tire strategy, when the cautions fall, these teams only get 6 tires in their pit area, so they're going to probably change right side tires once and forward tires once. Whoever has those 4 fresh late if they can make a gamble with it, will be the deciding factor. Tires mean everything here.
When is the big question to get those tires? That's what we'll answer here today, and there's so many different philosophies down on pit road, and it's dictated by when the caution flags fly.
And you see the old weathered asphalt. They resurfaced part of the racetrack. It all looks the same now. The same challenge for all these competitors. These young 17, 16, 15-year-olds are getting their first glimpses here at Salem Speedway. The veterans will come to fore here quickly.
For some more on a dark horse for this event, let's go down to Mike Wallace. Mike?
Well, guys, he might be considered a dark horse in the ARCA series because he hasn't run any races before. But Josh Berry, who drives for Junior Motorsports, runs super late models and late models back in the Carolinas, run a few Busch races and Xfinity races. He's set, ready to go, locked and loaded, qualified second in Chad Bryant's car. You know, he's very, very excited. I was good enough to talk with Dale Jr. the other night. He was nice enough to text back to me. He said he's looking for great things for Josh, hoping he has a good top 5 finish. I talked to Josh earlier. I think he's got a shot to win this race.
I think you're right, Mike Wallace. Starting on the front row for this one, he'll start on the inside because the pole sitter, Chandler Smith, actually chose the outside lane, which is very preferred here. Now, talking about strategy here, Jim Trado, if you look at the last 4 races here, you see the long green flag runs that we have in the middle of the race, especially in this race 1 year ago, 107 laps, and that turned the running order upside down.
And that was in the middle portion of the race, and a number of teams went a lap down. Christian Eckes was on a different tire strategy. Gustine spun early. That forced his hand to put 2 tires on. They lapped the field, so it's going to be a great race to watch. We'll follow along. The scoring across the top of the screen will change quickly.
Take a look at the Scott's rookie spotlight here for none other than Chase Purdy. Chase Purdy, 5 times a runner-up finisher last year in the NASCAR Can-Am Pro Series East. He is a guy hungry for a win. He's part of that MDM brigade, and today he will start on the 5th spot on the inside of row number 3.
Yeah, great effort for him, considering that his crew chief, Cully Barclaw, who he worked with all last year and part of this year, went home ill earlier this weekend. So they brought in Robert Huffman. Not a bad choice for Plan B. Robert Huffman will call the shots for that number 8 team here today.
Yeah, I talked to them this morning, and basically he told me Cully's still not feeling well, so we wish him a speedy recovery. Let's take a look at some of the big names that have won here at Salem Speedway in the past. Justin Allgaier, he's in the Xfinity Series. Christopher Bell won the Xfinity Series race at Richmond a couple nights ago. Grant Enfinger, a former champion. Chris Buescher, Alex Bowman, he's in the 88 for Dale Jr. and Hendrick Motorsports. So many big names have been prominent here at this racetrack.
And what's great about it is the history. Everyone reveres the history, whether an open wheel fan or a stock car fan. This has been home to ARCA for 102 races. Dating back to the 50s, man. This is cool. You can feel the history coming in, and these young drivers are hungry to put their name on the winners list at the famed Salem Speedway.
The General Tire race information, Jack Harrison won that first race back in 1955. 200 laps the distance here today. This is the 103rd ARCA Racing Series event here at Salem Speedway. Last year's winner, by the way, not in the field because he's running in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, Dalton Sargent.
Yeah, and he had a really good run. His crew chief is here. It's Paul Andrews with the 77 team, Joe Graff Jr. He has Mike Bliss helping him through his young career. A lot of great talent here on the racetrack. About to let her loose for 200 laps, Bob.
A nice slow pace, and you see where Chandler Smith's number 20 is. That's where he'll be after the first lap. They run right up against the wall. The green flag is out, and the 15-year-old leads them into turn number 1.
Better bite off the bottom of turn 2. Josh Berry in that bright yellow big time Ford. A lead lap one though, Bob.
Very impressive for Josh Berry, just 27 years old. Last year's Cars Tour late model stock car champion. We go on board with Christian Eckes in the JBL camera. And take a look at how close they get to the wall coming off of turn number 4.
The top 4 cars are ahead of Eckes. We're already single file. He's the white car 5th in line. Not challenged thus far. These guys want to set a pace, but they can't afford to ride too long because of the quick pace of our leaders.
Yeah, Chandler Smith doesn't want to be patient at all. He wants to go to the front of the field and pulls off the pass in Turn number 3 here, just in the opening laps of this 200-lap affair. 4 laps complete, and Chandler Smith to the front, just like we saw him early at Nashville.
While it's his first glimpse here at Salem Speedway, they did have a chance to test, but not in race conditions. They didn't run 24 cars deep. They were here with their Venturi Motorsports team. Smith studied them. That textbook pass we'll see a lot today. You got to pass them. Set them up into turn 1, make the pass down the backstretch, and be in line by turn 3.
On board with Christian Eckes, so dominant a year ago. Had an early race caution, came down pit road. We talked about that tire strategy. He went out and dominated, led a ton of laps here, and then unfortunately for him had a flat tire late in the race that took him out of contention for the lead. But you can see the car just in front of him right now, and that number 15 machine is the Greek car for Gus Dean, who has had a difficult start to the season.
Yeah, Gus had some incidents last year as well that started his season the wrong way, but here at Salem Speedway, that second place finish was the first of 15 straight races of finishing 11th or better. Gus was really looking forward to coming back to Salem, a track he knows he can run well with. It's Wintron Racing in that 32.
Yeah, and this 32 is the same car that he finished second with last year in this race. So a little bit of a different setup, though. A really tight racing there with some slower cars to the inside. Christian Eckes trying to move to the inside of Gus Dean. And honestly, that top groove is the preferred line. That's a tough way around the racetrack where Christian Eckes is right now.
And while this track looks really wide, into turn 3 and 4, you better be at the top. If you're not there, you need to get there quickly. It's great to see Eckes on the bottom, but he's using up those good general tires quickly here. He's got to get back in line on top.
And the big thing here is not necessarily the right rear, it's the right front, the punishment that the right front tire takes if you just use and abuse it. And right now, Eckes able to move into the 3rd spot, past Zane Smith in number 41. Right now, Chandler Smith still with a couple car length lead on the 22 of Josh Berry.
A lot of generosity here being given and taken early on here with these young drivers. They don't know what these general tires are going to do. The longest most of them have gone are 30 or 40 laps in a practice run, and that includes coming to pit road, letting them cool, go through a cycle. So this is a learning experience for them, knowing they've been beat over the head. Do not wear out your tires early, otherwise you're going right to the back.
How about Christian Eckes? Really strong from that 6th starting spot all the way up to 2nd. Here comes Chase Purdy. He started 5th right now, battling with the 32 of Gus Dean. And Purdy is a guy, he says, man, it's been a long time since I won. I think it was 2 years ago at Greenville Pickens Speedway in South Carolina. And this kid would love to get back to victory lane, especially for the first time here in ARCA.
And it's deservingly here at the Salem Speedway. He gets to be in the Scott Rookie Spotlight because this is the first track he's been back to. He said, it feels so good to go to a track that I know I can run well at. He ran here last spring with Mason Mitchell Motorsports, last fall, excuse me, and that number 18, all that's a change for him. He said, you wouldn't believe how much of a comfort it is knowing I've raced here, knowing I've run 200 laps on a track. It doesn't happen often. It's been over a year since that was possible.
Oh, tight-quartered racing right there. Sheldon Creed moving up into the top 5 now. Sheldon Creed in that white and blue and black number 28. The kid can flat out drive. You mentioned he's the oldest of the drivers in the MDM squad at just 20 years old.
He's led a lot of laps this year. On Daytona's track, he led the most laps. At Nashville, he led laps. This kid was 25 laps away from really cementing his win at Nashville, but his teammate, Zane Smith, saved a little more towards the end and passed him back with a really nice move late in the going.
Look at Gus Dean. He's now to the bottom side of the racetrack trying to get by Zane Smith. And this is what's really interesting about Zane Smith. He said, this car is actually better than the one I drove here with in the fall. And he finished 2nd in that race. He was the pole sitter. He said, my job today is to save the tires. You're going to see me ride early in this race, and I believe that's what we're seeing out of the 41.
But he's looking in his mirror as well. There's a lot of two-eyed racing behind him, so how much can he ride? How much is he going to have to get that whip out before he wants to, going down this backstretch to stay with these leaders in this pace?
Chase Purdy in that 8, trying to hold on the top side. The 23 right there is Brett Holmes, 3rd crew chief in the 3rd race of the season for that Brett Holmes racing team. So they had a little bit of a difficult time of it, but he's fighting strong so far here in Salem, Indiana. That slower car on the bottom side of the racetrack, Thomas Prater in the number 9 out of Alabama. Folks, we got a long way to go here in Salem, Indiana, adjacent to the racetrack. How about that? You can come and actually get some golfing in as well before you attend the racetrack. We are live today at Richard Deaton's Salem Speedway. The owner is Owen and Beverly Thompson. Richard runs this place, and this is his passion today. On MAV TV, Chandler Smith leads just 25 laps into this 200-lap race.
And we're seeing the pace now being set by Chandler Smith at 17.958 seconds. The qualifying runs, I'm telling you, they were really close to the track record, underneath 17 seconds flat. So we've seen that fall off already. They must qualify on the tires they begin the race with. Everybody went with fresh General Tire radios.
Battle for 10th on the racetrack. Brandon Grasso in the number 52. That's the car that won the championship with Austin Theriault 1 year ago. Brandon, a rookie here, a Scots rookie in the ARCA Racing Series. He's a converted dirt track racer. In fact, he's still racing dirt modifieds up in the Northeast. He had a great run last week at New Egypt Speedway in New Jersey and just came up short of going after the win.
Ooh, we almost had one there. The 52 of Brandon Grasso, just his second ARCA Racing Series start, and the red 25 of Natalie Decker going hard at it here.
Natalie Decker, a lot of attention on her in the Venturini Motorsports car. That 25, trying to become the first female to ever win here in the ARCA Racing Series. Shauna Robinson, she finished second. Aaron Crocker Evernham has finished second on a couple of different occasions, and there's a lot of hype about Natalie Decker out of Wisconsin.
Yeah, the short track, Nicole Behar finished third, and Patty Simcoe finished third, but never has a female won an ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards Points Race.
And she's a bundle of energy, honestly. Right before her qualifying run yesterday, saw her dancing on pit road. I said, what are you doing? She says, I'm getting pumped up. A little different approach for our leader, Chandler Smith. He's quiet and reserved, but he's really come into his own over the course of the last couple of years. He's been racing late models since he was 12 years old, won a big race in Georgia to kick off this season in a super late model. They call it Speed Fest down at Watermelon Capital Speedway for the ARCA Series Super Series. But Chandler Smith, he likes this racetrack. And when we were speaking to him this morning, I said, you ever been to a place like this? He said, honestly, I have. Winchester Speedway last year finished top 5 in his super late model, and that's a little bit of a sister track to Salem with very high bank tight corners.
Had a chance to win, and it was a 400 lap race there. We're just doing half of that here today in these big heavy stock cars compared to that sleek, low, wide, fat tired super late model he ran at Winchester, a sister track, if you will, here in Indiana.
Christian Eckes, he's starting to get into some music to get him primed and ready for the race. Listening to his JBL tunes this morning, had his headset on and having a good time here in preparation for this race. There's the 23 of Brett Holmes. Holmes, as I said, a couple of years ago, finished top 3 here. And right now, currently running 4, so he's picking off some spots early in this one.
Yeah, he had the support of Brent Enfinger, the 2015 Series champion. The next year became Brett's part-time crew chief as Grant was forging his way into the NASCAR Truck Series. One thing I want to point out, the race pace, I got a little bit wrong earlier. We're already back in the 19-second bracket. We started out early in the 17s, high 17s. We're now in a pace. We're about 19.3s, 19.4s. That's 0.2 of a second off of what we were just 10 laps ago.
Well, I was speaking to Kevin Reed, who's the crew chief for Christian Eckes, who's running second right now on the racetrack. And he was telling me Brett Holmes, by the way, up to third now. But he said, you know, from qualifying to the race, you're at least a 2-second difference. That's how much it slows down. But no slowing down whatsoever for Brett Holmes. Hopefully he's still saving those tires. He is on a mission. Brett Holmes moving through the field and now up to second.
You mentioned new crew chief James Hollywood Wall is now calling the shots. He was hired in January as an engineer for this team as they work closely with GMS Racing. But this team with the 23, Brett Holmes, is really forging forward. He and his father Stacy set forth saying we need to make this team a lot better in our second full season, and they're proving here today they can get it done on the short track here at Salem, the only short track we raced twice on all season.
And look, Brett Holmes starting to close in on your leader Chandler Smith. Remember, Brett Holmes started 11th, and now we're only 38 laps into this one. He is the hard charger of the race for sure so far. So Brett Holmes coming through the field with Chandler Smith, the 15-year-old, out front just like he did in Nashville, Tennessee a couple of weeks ago. But can he change his fortune? He had a top 5 run there, hoping for the victory today. There are your top 5 drivers. Brett Holmes is catching leader. Chandler Smith will be returning from Salem, Indiana. The Kentuckiana Ford Dealers 200 today at Salem Speedway, live on MAV TV. Chandler Smith still leading this one. The General Tire Fast Time qualifier yesterday. I'm Bob Diller, Jim Trado with me, Mike Wallace as well. He's on pit road, just checking out with what all the teams are doing down there. And one of them we're keeping an eye on certainly is Zane Smith in that number 41 car. Mike, what's going on with Zane Smith and that team?
Well, guys, as you know, this is a tire strategy race. They're having to take care of the tires. I took some of your advice, Bob. I got a sign. I asked the guys, just pace racing? They said yes. All three MDM cars are just trying to stay within pace of the leaders, save the tires the best they can. They do not want to come to pit road before lap 80 is their desired deal. But, you know, you're trying to log laps. You got the leaders out there cutting a good torrid pace, but the MDM cars are sticking to their plan.
Very good, Mike Wallace. Good job down there, buddy. We appreciate that information for sure. And if you take a look at where they're running on the racetrack, Zane Smith is currently running in the 9th spot. Sheldon Creed is in 13th. Just ahead of that, or between those two, is actually Chase Purdy in 11th. So that team sticking to their word on pacing themselves, making sure they don't go a lap down, but not punishing those tires.
And this is a small victory. We take it in small bites. If you're Riley Herbst at Salem Speedway, it's his least favorite track on the schedule. And he's running top 10 at this point in the race. His crew chief, Booty Barker, and his old crew chief from last year is still way involved. Shannon Rush, they've got this young man a race car he can run with. He said, I don't know how much I love this place, but guess what? He's running top 10 with Zane Smith. He's on pace as we're on board with the ARCA Coolers onboard camera on Riley Herbst, number 18.
Well, you talk to Booty Barker, and he'll tell you he hates this place. Under caution here at Salem Speedway. Unfortunate circumstance for Dale Shearer on the racetrack, front end and back end. Badly hurt on that race car. Yeah, he was struggling a bit. We saw him lap down or so before the incident. His Ford Fusion, unfortunately for this young man, is not going to be moving forward. Looks like he'll need a tail and maybe a double hook here. This track, it can eat you up in a hurry, and Dale's car is showing the damage and the wear there in the number 73. You know, Dale's trying so hard. It's great to see him here at the racetrack. It's his 31st ARCA start in just the last 9 years. So getting things together, getting the things right, you know, takes a lot of effort. So good to see Dale here, and unfortunately we'll have some damage before we see him again here on the series. This is a tough place because not only we talk about the high banks, right? It's not just because of that. This is a very bumpy racetrack too, and the suspension really comes into play. And like you said, these corners are all completely different, and that's what these teams have trouble dialing in. Remember, this is part of the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge on the ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards. And right now, Zane Smith actually leading that points brigade. But in overall points, just a reminder, Michael Self, after 2 events, is leading over Sheldon Creed. But with Michael Self not being here, he wasn't scheduled to run this race. Somebody else will leave here, the point leader.
And what's great about it is every position in ARCA from first to last is a 5-point difference. So when you want to talk about points swings, there's not many points because we're only 3 races into the season, Bob. He had a 5-point lead. He'll be obviously chipping down the order. But when it comes to the 2018 point standings, the biggest difference from 1st to 11th in positions is 20 points. That's Brett Holmes, 20 points ahead of Con Nicolopoulos in 9th. Everybody else has 2 or 3 positions separating them in the overall standings.
So right now, Chandler Smith over Brett Holmes. Gus Dean running in the 3rd spot. Christian Eckes is 4th. And how about this? Natalie Decker moving her way through the field in the 25 for Venturini Motorsports. The lady driver is in the top 5.
She was running 11th. A couple of drivers said, you know what, I'm going to volunteer here. If you want to get by me, perhaps the discussion on the roof with the spotters help these drivers safely get to where they want to ride a bit.
So the pits are still closed because the safety team cleaning up from this incident on the racetrack. When we come back, we'll sort everything out for you and show you if anybody came down pit road. Don't go away. Under caution here early in this one. 57 laps complete of the 200 in the Kentuckiana Ford Dealers 200 at Salem Speedway. So now we await to see if cars come down pit road.
And the pits literally go from the inside of turn 4 all the way around the racetrack to the inside of turn 2 on pit exit. This is a big deal. This pit road's not that wide.
Here are the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge Series standings. Zane Smith, after one event, of course, by virtue of his win at Nashville, leading the brigade. Sheldon Creed and Harrison Burton right there as well. Chandler Smith leading this race is currently 5th.
Yeah, it's race points only, so you don't get the extra points for qualifying or extra points for leading laps. This is straight up How did you finish the races? We'll tabulate the points and go forward till the end of the season when we crown them right here at Salem.
All these races for the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge live on MAV TV exclusively this year. Here come the cars coming down pit road. The first one to pit will be Chandler Smith. Mike Wallace is down there. Mike, what's going on with that pit stop?
Guys, I'm right here. Billy Venturini told me they're going to put a round of wedge in that car. They're on the right side tires, 2 tires only. You see the round of wedge in the right rear. Now they got to weed their way back out on the racetrack.
So 2 tires, the strategy for Chandler Smith. Saw Natalie Decker down there changing tires as well. It's a mess down there, and we got a problem between the 32 of Gustine and Brett Holmes. Tight-quartered racing down there. You can see the right rear on that machine. It's
Jack's
off
down.
the jack, absolutely. So they're going to have to lift that car back up to get the jack up underneath again because they did not get the right rear tire on Gustine's green machine after that contact with the number 23 of Brett Holmes. Both drivers were running in the top 5.
So tight quarters here in the front straightaway, but the MDM team has to go all around to the bottom of turn number 1 to get to their pit stall. These pit stalls were chosen by ARCA, and the team said, if we want to pit together, can we do that? And they said, yes, you can. These teams have had a lot of work to do. They've been anticipating this pit stop.
Let's take a look. There's the contact actually between Christian Eckes and Brett Holmes, and then Brett Holmes, number 23. A tough mishap down there, and you can see the team scrambling for Gustine down there. I see everybody up on their feet, but definitely shook up a little bit after that melee down there.
One more look, Bob, and really this explains how tight it is. The cars coming to pit road off of turn 4 have yet to pit, but the 23 car was already done with the right side tires. He wanted to get out, and unfortunately he got really sandwiched there between a car going past and Gustine's car mid-pit stop.
Joe Graff Jr. in the number 77, by the way, hit the outside, I guess, retaining wall for the pit lane in that number 77 car for Chad Bryant Racing. So very tight racing even on pit road. Josh Berry in the big time number 22 for Chad Bryant Racing is now out in front of this field.
So Chad Bryant and this team have a young driver who they came here and tested. Josh is getting the chance. He's better known as a late model racer. He's won 48 late model races, late model stock races in the last 5 years. That doesn't include a lot of pit stops. But what this team did, he relied upon his Myrtle Beach 400 victory and how to get through the mindset of tire wear and pit strategy. So that really helped him in a longer race setting, albeit it's just his first ARCA Racing Series event.
You never want to see anything like that happen on pit road. These over-the-wall athletes, and that's exactly what they are, is athletes. A very precarious position at times down there, and they do their best to stay safe, but it is something that is very difficult down there on pit road with all these cars coming on pit road, and fortunately, you know, I believe that he's going to be A-OK. You see the officials down there tending to him. But right now, Josh Berry at the top of the heap. He did not pit.
Thanks to Mike Wallace, we got that info. He and his team elected to stay out. Again, we're only 57 laps into this. Now, guess what? If they can hold pace there, maybe only lose 5 or 6 spots, pray for a caution coming up in the next 10 to 20 laps. This could change the circumstances greatly because they have more tires ready to go in the pits after staying out.
Strategy definitely coming into play here at Salem today for the ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards.
The ARCA Racing Series, presented by Menards, has been brought to you by Sioux Chief, America's manufacturer of plumbing, drainage, supply, and support products. Scott family of products, great value, great performance. And by Can-Am, we're built for this.
A great day for racing here at Salem Speedway for the Kentucky Anna Ford Dealers 200. Josh Berry in that 22 car leads for the big time team. Little interesting strategy here, Mike Wallace. What is the plan for Josh Berry and this team?
Well, Bob, you talk about big time gambling. Chad Bryant, the team owner and crew chief, made the call. It says, we've been saving tires. We've been saving. They want to save it for another set. They want to be in the position to have the best tires on pit road. They got a chance for Josh Berry to win this race. And I'm going to tell you what, if I was in Vegas, he's throwing some big ones out there on the table right now.
Indeed, but you know what? If anybody's going to gamble and it's going to pay off, Chad Bryant is like a mad scientist. He has these equations in his head, and a lot of times they work out for him.
He's won here in the past at Salem. He's won a Comedic Crew Chief of the Year award 3 consecutive years and a championship with Chase Briscoe. This team's got it going on. We'll see how Berry does on these old General tires.
Here we go. Restart on lap 65 here. You see Barry on the outside. He chooses that outside lane, which is the easier way around this racetrack, but already Chandler Smith, the 15-year-old in the 20 for Venturini Motorsports, is challenging him. He wants that lead back.
Down to the bottom goes Smith. Again, those new tires should make a difference. Barry's doing a great job on the outside. It's a matter of patience now. How soon do you make that move? Because they're all equal now. The two right sides are brand new. Those left sides, though, they need to baby those a bit yet, too.
Chandler Smith inches out in front and squeezes Barry up almost into the wall right there, but Chandler Smith back to the front. Because of that, that opens the door for Christian Eckes, another teenager, to the inside of the 27-year-old Josh Barry.
Super late model racing has been the young drivers coming to fore. Josh Barry at age 27 has been a very established late model racer in the Southeast. Two young drivers that he's raced with are now ahead of him, the 20 of Chandler Smith, and we got a caution, Bob.
Caution will come out on the racetrack once again. Matt Dooley. Excuse me, they had a driver change in that one. It's actually Dick Donahue in that number 10 machine this weekend for Andy Hillenberg Racing. They changed drivers yesterday, and he hit the wall hard. Take a look at what happened. He's able to pull away, which is certainly a good sign. Let's take a look at the replay of what happened here to the 10 car.
Yeah, Dick's been in and out of the pits. Looks like it happened at the apron of turn 1, the way the tire marks go up to the wall. Boy, it's a telling sign here at Salem. It's easy to lose the handle, especially going into turn 1. Drivers we talked to, with experience or not, Dick ran both races here last year. Entry to turn 1 is critical to hit the mark because there's bumps, there's nuances. It looks like Dick missed it by just a little bit, and that turned his car around.
Bad break for that Andy Hillenberg team. They bring 2 cars to each and every race, just about, with both the number 10 and the number 11. But you can see that left front damage. It's pretty severe on that machine.
Noah Haber in the Milwaukee Crusher car behind the wall. He actually spent a few laps behind the wall. He was actually a number of laps down, but getting back on the racetrack, trying to get up to speed, trying to catch this field, and the pace set by this young 15-year-old man. It's hard to keep pace with these kids.
And Chandler Smith looking good here today. But Josh Barry, he led on that restart. A little bit of a gamble for that team, if you will, on not coming down pit road like everybody else. But that big time number 22, Josh Barry, is a veteran race car driver, and it's a big week for him as well.
This Friday, his fiancée, Jenny, who's at home preparing for their wedding this Friday, will become a married man. So he said she's a little busy. She'd love to come to the track. She knows how important it is for me, but obviously getting ready. She's watching today, so Jenny and Josh, we can't wish you anything but the best. And Josh is doing what he loves, and you know he loves you, because you guys Friday become a married couple.
And here's what's really big for Josh Barry. This is a unique opportunity for him because he was battling, honestly, for the Cars Tour Late Model Stock Car Championship again. They had a race in Rougemont, North Carolina yesterday. Well, he gave up the opportunity to go after his second straight title to come here and race in the ARCA Racing Series with Chad Bryant because it was such a great opportunity. Folks, remember, we've been looking at your tweets. We appreciate all of them so far. Also, your comments on Facebook. Make sure you use the hashtag MavTV and take a look at this. We love watching people check out all the action, including the dogs involved.
In the comfort of Toledo, Ohio, and they got the recliner going there, ready to go racing, guys. Thanks for tweeting us and showing us where you guys are with Dad. Thanks, guys.
We'll be going to Toledo in just about a month, actually, and that'll be live on MavTV.
Sunday, May 20th. Be there.
Chip Hirsch right here, and look at him. He actually takes a picture of our graphics. And by the way, what is that little stand there that you're doing?
That's my friend Steve Zocchi. This is last year. This is the Weatherman brothers, Kyle and Clayton. Good to see those guys in the hopefully back in the field soon here in the ARCA Racing Series.
And of course, Stanky right there, crew chief for MDM, posing with some fans down there and got a chance to meet with everybody down there. And it was so much fun during the autograph session a little while ago. Crew chiefs, drivers signing autographs. And oh, look at this. By the way, on this day in 2007, Brian Keselowski scored his second career ARCA Racing Series win right here. I did my homework, and he was on my sheet right here. He scored the win here at Salem Speedway. Brian, if you're watching today, we appreciate it, dude.
Love to see that action on Facebook and Twitter using @MavTV, the hashtag MavTV, hashtag Motorsports Network. Joining the conversation, Denise Engel's got the green flag furled. That means we're one lap away from going back green here, Bob.
Some newcomers into the ARCA Racing Series scene in this race here at Salem Speedway. Colby Howard in the number 78 for Mason Mitchell Motorsports, making his first start. He actually won at Greenville Pickens Speedway in a late model stock car a couple of weeks ago, but another one of those teams to look forward to. He says he wants to run more with Mason Mitchell this year. Yeah, and he's a young man that has never been here before. He said, I talked to Mason after we tested. I didn't get near the wall, man. I was 3 or 4 feet off. Mason kept encouraging me, and I just get word from his team. Tim Clagg just sent me a text saying, this team is ready, the 78 team for Mason Mitchell. Mason's on the spotter stand. They ran about 40 to 50%. They've got a lot left in this number 78. They want to keep this young man tethered, if you will. Pull on those reins to keep him off those tires. He said it was a little intimidating when he tested here a little over a week ago. Let's see what happens here on this restart. The teammates on the front row, Chandler Smith on the outside, Christian Eckes on the inside. Eckes with a great run there in the JBL number 15. He grabs the lead in turns 1 and 2. Again, that yellow car does not have fresh right side tires. See that contact there between the NOS number 18 and the 28 of Sheldon Creed. Remember, we talked about Moody Parker telling us Riley does not like this racetrack. Downright hates it, but he's having a good run so far. Josh Berry in the 22 trying to hold on with those older tires. And that congestion, Riley Herbst came in the pits 10th, put 2 right side tires on, came back out 10th in that number 18 machine. Here comes Chase Purdy in the 8th, ducking to the inside of Riley Herbst. Last year's Rookie of the Year in the ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards. Good battle here. Sheldon Creed told me yesterday he's the driver of the 28. He said, you know what? Our car is a really good long run car. If I get some long runs, I am coming to the front. And he's got a great move inside of turn 3. Dropped to the bottom there. Not the best place to pass, but he knew he had to take advantage of Josh Berry's car a bit slower with those older tires in the 22. Christian Eckes looking good at the top of the heap so far. Mike Wallace, what do you got on Christian Eckes?
And the car's got new tires on it, and they're just logging laps. The Venturini Motorsports teams are running 1-2 right now with Natalie Decker in the top 10, so all systems go for Venturini Motorsports.
Chandler Smith back out in front. The number 20 over Christian Eckes. That lead change happening just 1 lap ago. There's the 22 of Josh Berry. Berry has won so many races around the late model stock car scene in the Carolinas, and I said, you've never been to a place like this. He said, no, not the high banks, but I've been to a worn out racetrack. He won the Myrtle Beach 400 1 year ago, and that gobbles up tires just like this place does. So he feels like he can get the feel out of that race car and know when to push and know when to hold back. And right now, he's holding back, just saving his tires. Great, impressive runs by the young man. In the wall. In the wall. Oh. Josh Berry slammed the wall. He's got his first Salem stripe out of the way. And the grip goes away. The drivers say as the tires wear, you need to move off that wall about a foot in turn 3, but he didn't have the room there because the 18 of Herbst was coming on his inside. Yeah, Josh Berry now back to the 9th spot, just ahead of the 52 of Brandon Grasso. Here's the replay, and you can see Howard kind of shoved him up there a little bit in the 78, and Berry tried to back out, but he carried that momentum up the racetrack that the 78 shoved him up there. Yeah, Colby Howard trying to do everything he could to give him room, but it tightens up so tight in the middle of 3 and 4, you're not running the top. Great battles all over the racetrack here in Salem, Indiana. We'll be back to MAP TV in just a second. Under caution for the second time today in the Kentuckiana Ford Dealers 200 for the ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards right here at Salem Speedway. Thad Moffitt involved in a mishap in turns 3 and 4. Jim, let's take a look. Just the second caution started with Travis Braden to the inside and the number 27 underneath Natalie Decker. They made contact entering turn 3, a high-speed corner. And look at the weaving and bobbing going on. Look at the contact right there. It looks like maybe Travis Braden getting into the left rear quarter panel of Natalie Decker. But watch Joe Graff in the number 77. Just threads the needle right there. Another great view by all of our cameramen and women here today. Take a look at that. Jack Dossey, the third, by the way, in the 99. His first start here in this series with some damage to the front end of the 99. There's Natalie Decker with some left rear quarter panel damage on that N29 car. And the team had the bare bond ready. They did not change tires for Natalie, but what a break for Josh Berry in the 22. He did not change tires as of yet. All the other teams pitted on lap 57. We see the bare bond put on the back of that Yamaha Power Products number 25 of Natalie Decker. Here they come. The cars that need a change, this is a great opportunity. Chad Bryant Racing, both the 22 and the 77, both coming down pit road. Let's go down to Mike Wallace. Mike?
Boy, you're talking about a gamble that paid off. The 22 car of Josh Berry now gets to come in, put on those right side tires. Car's driving perfect, no adjustments, just right side tires. They're going to be having fresher tires of 77 out in front, got some fuel and adjustment, pulling off a windshield tear off, drink bottle out. They're making a little adjustment to make sure there's no fender rub from when he got in the wall. He's going to line up behind all the lead lap cars anyway, but I can't believe it. It paid off so well for them. Two right side tires, and they're going to mow that field down quickly.
Yes, indeed, Mike Wallace. It's going to be fun to watch that big time number 22 come through the field, because remember, we talked about how the tires wear. After about 5 and even 10 laps, those tires go away, and you're just holding on. Well, for about 5 or 10 laps, Josh Berry is going to rocket through the field.
He'll have to restart back in this field, and there's still 17 cars on the lead lap. At this point in the race, the leaders, if they had their choice, they would have lapped more cars by now, but we have such a fast pace, and these 2 cautions, he's got 16 cars to pick off, and I'm thinking he might have a pretty good job doing it.
And he's got 25 or so fresher tires, lap tires on his machine. Here's the ARCA on board for Riley Herbst, currently running in the 7th spot. So Riley finished outside the top 10 in both races here at Salem 1 year ago. Booty Barker is his new crew chief, a new crew chief for Christian Eckes, the JBL camera for the number 15 of Christian Eckes. And Eckes, remember, led so many laps here in this particular race 1 year ago. He's still looking for his first victory in the ARCA Racing Series, and came close last year in Elko, Minnesota, just inches at the line in a battle with Austin Terrio. But I like the position that Christian Eckes is with Billy Venturini at the helm for him this weekend.
Thomas Prater gets the free pass in the DK lock. Fittings and valves forward. He'll make his way around. Natalie Decker makes her second trip down pit road. Also pitting were the 77 of Joe Graff, the 32 of Gus Dean, who had that pit incident, 27 of Travis Braden, who won on pit strategy in his very first ARCA start at Lucas Oil Raceway, as well as the 46 of Thad Moffitt. Lost a lap after spinning to avoid the crash that just brought us out our second caution.
Great shot right here, because these General tires are so good. They don't wear out. They just lose some grip on a hard, old racing surface like this. And look at Mike down there checking out that tire. But that's what I was seeing down there, as that team was checking it out just a little bit. Chandler Smith chooses the outside as the leader of this race. He's done that on every start or restart of this race that he's been the leader. Christian Eckes will be on the inside. Remember, both of those kids, teenagers, and they're also teammates at Venturini Motorsports.
The first 11 cars did not pit this time, so Joel Graff Jr., the first car on pit road to come to pit road and return without changing tires. Josh Berry will start 13th in that yellow number 22 big time Ford on the inside.
I'm telling you, we're going to be watching Josh Berry come through the field. The guy's got so much talent. You know, he's hoping, if he has a good run here today, that this parlays into some more opportunities here with the ARCA Racing Series. And Chad Bryant told me this morning he would love to see that happen. Green flag back out here at Salem Speedway. And once again, just like the previous restart, Christian Eckes fires first and is able to get that top spot over Chandler Smith, his teammate, on board the ARCA camera with Riley Herbst running in traffic. Watch as he wrestles this wheel around this racetrack.
And where to look is out the front windshield, but he's got a lot of action all the way around this number 18 Toyota for Coy Gibbs. This team has to have a good run here. This is where they know they need to perform on the short tracks to overcome what is Riley saying, I don't know if I can handle it here, Salem. I got to figure this place out. He's doing a great job thus far in that number 18. Banging wheels there with Cody Howard.
Colby Howard in that number 78. That was definitely some hard-fought racing there coming off of turn number 4. That's the tricky part of this racetrack. Herbst now up to 7th on the track over Howard in that 78. And look at this, just like the last restart. Eckes gets it, but now Chandler Smith a little bit better after a lap. He's going to get the lead back coming off of turn number 2.
Worth revisiting. The number 20 of Chandler Smith has won a lot of big super late model races recently. The 2016 Snowball Derby super late model champion and the number 15 of Christian Eckes. These two young teams have caught the eye of Toyota, and they are certainly on the fast track here, working with ARCA teams that have a lot of experience. Venturini Motorsports heading up both of our leaders' efforts here in the 20 and number 15 respectively.
Tight-quartered racing here. There is the 22 with those fresh tires. Changed right side tires did the Chad Bryant Racing team for Josh Berry. And now look at him. He's on the inside. He restarted in 13th. Now battling for 7th on the racetrack with Riley Herbst.
To the inside goes the 22 of Berry, just ahead of that battle. Sixth is Creed, seventh is Barry.
This gamble by Chad Bryant is really paying off because now he'll get back to the front of the field. He squeezes Sheldon Creed a little bit. Creed shows and exudes some patience right there, getting off the throttle, and that's tough to do in turns 3 and 4.
For the few number of laps Josh Berry has had in the ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards, he is cutting through here with veteran, what shall we say? Fatigue, no, finesse, that's the word. The fatigue is nowhere near what he wants to do. This 27-year-old is on a mission to prove he belongs here, and the way he's cutting through traffic, giving each other room, this kid has got something going on here after all those recent successes in late model racing.
Riley Herbst trying to move to the inside of Sheldon Creed. That battle now for 7th on the track. Just in front of them, I see Josh Berry, there he is, has just gotten by Chase Purdy in the number 8. Woo, battles all over the racetrack. We'll come back with more as Chandler Smith still leads. Just past the halfway point in this one, a 200-lap battle royale at Salem Speedway for the ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards on a nice Sunday afternoon in southern Indiana. Chandler Smith still leading, but let's take a look at the DuPont Protect Plus mid-race recap. And right from the get-go, Chandler Smith was looking pretty sharp.
And he's proven once again, no matter what he has under this race car, he knows it's fast. And the question has been answered. How long can this kid keep up the pace? Well, he's doing a great job here, showing the way. His familiarity with Winchester Speedway, the high banks there, no doubt paying off for him, and his comfortability adapting to this racetrack so quickly and so well.
3 crew chiefs in 3 races for Brett Holmes, but he made his presence felt up into the top 5, and then a mishap on pit road. Holmes and Eckes collect together on pit road, and unfortunately, one of the tire changers on the 32 of Gustine was hit on pit road. Christian Eckes to the front of the field. He did that on 2 different occasions so far. And then contact between Travis Braden and the 25 of Natalie Decker. Look at the 77 of Joe Graff go right between those race cars. A fine piece of driving for that driver out of the Northeast. Here comes Chandler Smith. Even after Christian Eckes grabbed the lead once again, Chandler Smith back to the front like it's been just about all day here in Salem, Indiana. We've seen some different lead changes today. 3 lead changes. Chandler Smith has led 88 laps so far, and we've had several cautions so far in this one, but it's been all about Chandler Smith. And speaking of cautions, we have another here. Just past the midway point in this race, 110 laps complete, and it's for Thad Moffitt.
The Transportation Impact Ford went around in turns 1 and 2, Bob. Looks to be a solo car effort. Solo car spin again. We mentioned he spun to avoid earlier of the second accident, as we're now under our 3rd caution of the day, but he unfortunately lost it in turn 2, and this young man's on a learning curve. He has not been to Salem Speedway. He said the car was continually tight no matter what they did to change that car, so he's learning the hard way here at Salem Speedway. It's not an easy track to figure out.
How did he put it to you?
Tight.
Yeah. Thad Moffitt, the grandson of the King, Richard Petty, the 7-time Cup Series champion. So he was actually involved just happenstance-wise in that incident between Natalie Decker and Travis Braden a little while ago. Actually looped it in turns 3 and 4. So the second incident of the day for Thad Moffitt. And there you see him already spinning down there, coming off of turn 1, heading into turn number 2. Like you said, Jim, that's a tricky part of this racetrack with so many bumps. And if your car is not handling perfectly, it will get all cattywampus on you in a hurry.
It'll bite quickly, and Thad, unfortunately, not able to refire that number 46 for Empire Racing. His teammate, Sean Corr, will be back in that car at Talladega next race, and then we head to the short track again, Toledo Speedway. Can't wait to see how that place is going to play out on May 20th. Another race on our Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge coverage here on MAV TV, and hopefully Thad will be back in that field as well, because he ran really well last year before issues at Toledo in 2017.
He's learning. A couple of years ago in the Southeast Limited Late Model Series, he won a couple of different events. Chandler Smith, so good is this driver. 15 years old. We've been so impressed by him in only his 2nd ARCA Racing Series start. Here's what we got for you on Lucas Oil Racing TV. Coming up, the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series, actually the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series at Tri-City Speedway. That's Friday, April 27th. We are going to have a blast with that one. The Lucas Oil Modifieds on May 5th. The SRL Southwest Tour as well on May 5th from the Bullring of Las Vegas. We got so many cool races, and there's the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series, Estero Beach in Mexico. the 4th annual Battle South of the Border. That's going to be a blast. And like you mentioned, we're back with the ARCA Racing Series May 20th in Toledo, Ohio.
Great scheduling by the ARCA Racing Series. The Cup race was last night at Richmond. That weekend is the All-Star race in Charlotte. So if you want Sunday afternoon racing and sit back and watch 2 hours of nothing but excitement like we're seeing here today, that Sunday, May 20th date is something you need to put on your calendar or get that set reminder, and we'll let you know all about it.
MAV TV, we have a lot of upcoming live events as well. The Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship, May 19th. That's a 4 p.m. And as we mentioned, I'm live on MAV TV from Toledo, Ohio. The next day, May 20th. May 26th, back to motocross, the Show Me 100 for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. That's going to be a blast at the Diamond of All Dirt Tracks in Wheatland, Missouri. Population just 371 until race weekend. And then we get about 10,000 strong for that series and that prestigious race.
And June 8th, we go Super Speedway racing at 200 miles per hour right here on MAV. The Michigan ARCA 200 from the big track in Brooklyn, Michigan. That'll be a great race as well to tune into.
May 20th, we were mentioning Toledo, Ohio. That's another bull ring, a little maybe faster in some ways, a little bit wider racetrack. But Toledo, Ohio, that racetrack, which is part of the ARCA fold, it's going to be very interesting there when we get there on May 20th.
And the strategies there are similar here. Older, worn-out racetrack, a bit narrower, pit lane's tricky. There's a lot of similarities, but the setups are different, and we'll see Chandler Smith back in the field there as well on May 20th.
Make sure you talk to us on social media. We are checking it out. Every single caution flag we have here at Salem Speedway today. Use the hashtag MAVTV. And if we get a chance, we'll actually interact with you as well. Look at this. Sam is enjoying some ARCA racing on MAV TV with us here up in the booth. And he's rooting for both Natalie Decker and Chandler Smith. Well, Chandler's a pretty good pick here today for sure.
So is he sitting 33 degrees on the recliner there, getting an angled shot?
Look at this. A Mason Mitchell fan right here. And Leighton has a great setup with the nose of one of the race cars with the TV right above. How cool is that?
Yeah, Max Tollin had something to do with that. And guess what? Max will be back in action on the Super Speedway next week at Talladega, live on Fox Sports.
That is awesome.
We're having some fun.
I wonder if Angie would let me have one of those. I don't think so.
In the living room, why not?
Might be in the basement or something like that. The JBL camera for Christian Eckes. Christian's still having a very strong run here in that second spot. We mentioned he could have gone to victory lane here had it not been for a flat tire late in the race at Salem last spring.
What's different about 1 year ago and now is by now Christian Eckes had 4 tires on his race car and went through the field and lapped a bunch of cars. Now everybody's saying, wait a minute, I need to keep my 4 fresh. And every team that's in contention for this race has 4 more tires, and that set will go on all at one time at the chance that these teams will go. Now, why wouldn't they pit on lap 114? Because 20 laps into this, 30 laps into this, those tires are about junk in terms of getting grip on this racetrack. So they want to hope for a later caution. So we'll see how this plays out. The only guy that has a slight advantage right now is that yellow 22 of Josh Berry.
And guess where he's going to line up on the outside. 1 to go until we go green flag racing once again. Honestly, those fresher tires will still mean a little bit here because we have about 20 laps on them right now for Josh Berry, but he might be able to capitalize for the next 5 or 10 laps here with little fresher tires than the people right in front of him. Behind him, though, actually rides Riley Herbst. We are on board with the ARCA camera. And Riley, I am impressed because didn't know what to expect out of Riley here today. He rides 8th.
And look at this, the number 27 of Travis Braden, one of the originators of the tire strategy. Lucas Oil Raceway, he came in and pitted when no one else did and won that race. Now with RFMS Racing, this team, the Indiana team with the West Virginia driver, they're already up in the top 6 positions. They pitted when Josh Berry did.
And guess what? He had never raced here at this racetrack, even though he's a former ARCA Series Super Series champion. Now, I could not believe that. Here we go. Standing on the gas out of turn number 4, the Venturini Motorsports car rocket into turn number 1. And for the 3rd straight time, Christian Eckes gets the lead over his teammate.
You know, they give you 5 points for leading a lap, 5 points for leading the most laps. Christian Eckes wants to set sail, set pace. He's continually said over the radio, I want to get in a rhythm. He's not able to do that if he's got to chase his teammate, Chandler Smith, who's, I'm sure, not done trying to get that lead back from him.
Colby Howard, very impressive in that number 78. Let's go down to Mike Wallace. What do you have on Colby?
Colby Howard says his car is excellent. His crew chief says, hey, we've been running 50%, 60%. We're going to let him go now because we know we're all coming for tires. Expect a 78 to run harder than what he has been running.
He has definitely exuded some patience early on, and honestly, that is very impressive for a kid who's just 16 years old in his first big stock car event here with the ARCA Racing Series. He runs the late model stock cars around the Southeast, a completely different car. Tracks like Greenville-Pickens Speedway, which is a flat surface. Here we go, battle for the lead once again, just like we saw 3 times over already. After a couple of laps, it looks like Eckes in the 15 slows down just a tad, and here comes the 20 of Chandler Smith.
That Greenville-Pickens experience, though, is helping out the 78 driver in his first ARCA start, as well as the 22 of Josh Berry. Still on the move here. He's had a lot of laps on worn-out racetracks. Josh said, not this high banking. I'm used to being able to save my tires, because in late model racing, they don't change tires during the race. You start the race and you finish on the same 4 tires.
I still am so impressed with Josh Berry. Last year, 4 wins and the Cars Tour Late Model Stock Car Championship. Right now, he currently runs 3rd. Does he have anything for the Venturini boys here today? Closing in on 70 laps to go in the Kentuckiana Ford Dealers 200 at Salem Speedway for the ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards. And Chandler Smith is back out front. Let's show you how he did it.
To the bottom of turn 1, that's where you need to set up the competition. He did a great job and actually did a really nice slide job into turn 2 and already made that pass coming off the second corner down the backstretch. And then number 20 back out front, Chandler Smith ahead of Christian Eckes.
He looks like he's running at Winchester. I tell you what, indeed. Josh Berry having a very good run, currently 3rd. Mike Wallace, what do you have?
Well, Bob and Jim, you know, we always give a lot of credit to the drivers, how good a job they do. But we got to take our hats off to Chad Bryant Racing. Chad's a new team owner. They bought Cunningham Motorsports. And him and Paul Andrews, they're pitted right next to each other, the 22 and the 77. They threw some strategy out there earlier that's going to have themselves in the position, barring any problems, to possibly win this race. So as much credit as we give Josh Berry, let's talk about Chad Bryant and Paul Andrews on the great cars that they bring to the racetrack for them.
Indeed, Mike Wallace, Chad Bryant, Paul Andrews, that entire team does such a great job. And they're veterans, they're racers. They know these race cars. And right now, Chad Bryant talking to him this morning, he doesn't know if he's going to be at Talladega Super Speedway next week. So he's hoping with a good run here, maybe it could propel that team to some new things, and that they'll be able to continue throughout the season. And that's why they brought Josh Berry in. He's basically like a hired gun because he has so much talent, has done well in limited experience or limited attempts in the Xfinity Series and the Truck Series, and now showing his prowess here on the short track in ARCA.
I think that wedding card box might turn into a trophy from Salem if he has his way about it. Going down the aisle this Friday.
Wedding bells going off for Josh Berry, and it almost looks like he's getting into the back of the 15, but I don't believe he is. There's that little bump or hump there going into the corner, and it really rocks your car going into the high banks.
Great look, and that's another reason why this track is so special. You have to pick your moments and know where those bumps are, where you can run that line. As these leaders for 2nd and 3rd run into turn 1, you see the bump right there. You see the scrapes on the racetrack from the cars bottoming out as soon as they get through that dip. It's a matter of managing that lap after lap, and these guys are starting to wear a bit. You can see the tail getting a little bit happy on Josh Berry's car, albeit he has fresher right side tires.
Let's talk about this strategy just a little bit with Josh Berry as he continues to battle with Christian Eckes for 2nd. Now, oh man, they just hit that bump and just rock the car sideways.
And as the tires wear, they can't avoid that bump. They've got to run a bit higher on the racetrack, I'm told. And you can see here, the tires wear, you've got to get the momentum higher in turns 1 and 2.
And remember, what we're saying about the strategy is it put, Josh Berry and this team in good position to come down pit road next time. But all these teams, for the most part, have 4 tires for their next stop. Chase Purdy, though, running in the top 5. He had a good run going in the fall here, but then had some difficulty late in the race. And how about this? He ran the last 10 laps in the fall race, and I didn't know this until speaking with him this morning. The right side headrest fell off the car that he was running in the last 10 laps of the race last year. That's tough to do here around this racetrack.
It is, and this track will wear you out no matter if everything is perfect in that race car, so credit that young man who last year was racing for Mason Mitchell Motorsports. His crew chief was Kevin Reed, now calling the shots on Christian Eckes' efforts at Venturini Motorsports in the 15 this year.
Man, just the abuse that these drivers are taking and how they have to wrestle the wheel going into turn number 1 over that bump down there. That's what sets the men from the kids, even though the 15-year-old Chandler Smith is still leading this race.
But there's a lot to what Chandler Smith is doing here right now. He's doing what people are saying, well, you know what Chase Elliott did? He ran a lot of super late model races all over the country. There's one key factor that ties them together. Ricky Turner is doing the same with this young 15-year-old, doing the same pattern, same methodology, working his way through bigger races, and now getting a chance here in ARCA before Chase did at age 15.
I tell you what, Ricky Turner is a mastermind, a former Snowball Derby winner himself, and has been the crew chief in the late models, like you said, for Chandler Smith, and has really taught that kid well. Has made him work on that race car, has shown him that he needs patience, and that patience is actually transferring here to the ARCA Racing Series in just his second attempt. He leads with 59 laps to go. Can the 15-year-old do it today at Salem? Fourth caution of the day here at Salem Speedway for the ARCA Racing Series, presented by Menards. You see the yellow flag come out here. 200-lap race, so we're approaching 50 to go. Thomas Prater, you see he's flat-sided, the right side of that race car. Saw him spin down the backstretch, and because of that, he's got a lot of damage on the right side, and that's why we were under caution.
Yeah, he's running 19th at the time, a few laps down, and this is going to be a huge game changer for everybody. I think everyone is amped up on pit road to get these 4 tires on and race to the finish. We're within that window, the magic 50 laps to go. We had a 50-lap Grand American Stock Car race here earlier. We're down to that feature run here as leaders hit pit road.
Here we go. Chandler Smith pulls him into pit road. Let's go down to Mike Wallace.
Well, Bob and Jim, there's the 20 cars in. It's going to be a 4-tire stop. He's the first car on pit road. What's going to happen, it's working well. They're going to get all the left sides on right now. They put another round of bite in it. Pit road is going to be clear for them when they get a little problem on the left front tire. Got a little behind there. Ready to go off and away. But they got a clean shot out. The 15 is going to beat him off pit road. They're going to lose a few spots.
Let's see what happens here as they come off of pit road. Josh Berry in the 22. He comes out behind Chandler Smith. Right in front of that is Christian Eckes, but I'm trying to figure out where this 41's going to come out. The 41's going to lose some spots there. He stalls the race car on pit road. Stalls the race car, so Zane Smith loses about 3 spots on pit road.
And the 78 of Colby Howard also in for 4 fresh tires in his ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards debut. His dad Rodney is here. He's had 33 races in the Busch Grand National, now Xfinity Series. They're here supporting that young man. He's got a great run going.
Great pit stop by the 15 of Christian Eckes with Venturini Motorsports. And if you look at just behind that, the 27 of Travis Braden is out second. Let's go down to Mike Wallace with more on Natalie Decker.
Another Venturini car, Natalie Decker. She's 1 lap down in the race, or is pitting the second time by. They're putting tires on the car, putting fuel in it. You can see the damage that is on the rear of the car. Our cameraman's right up close there. They're putting around the wedge in the left rear. They got the jack bolt in there. Hopefully they'll get that back out. There you see it being put in now. 1 down, having a little struggle. Now he's off and away.
It's been a tough day for Natalie Decker, the driver out of Wisconsin. Got involved in an incident, got that damage. You see the duct tape on the back end to repair that damage. Currently running in the 17th spot, 3 laps down.
Also on that, also pitting was the number 69, the fast diesel fuel systems Ford of Will Kimball. Local hero, wanted to do really well here today. Just went a lap down, 6 laps prior to the caution.
And now Christian Eckes leading the field. 50 laps to go. He finds himself in a great position, but can he fend off some of the guys behind him? Chandler Smith has been very fast. Josh Berry's been quick. Sheldon Creed, Zane Smith, who lost some spots on pit road. So Zane Smith, I expect him to come through the field. Christian Eckes, though, gets to dictate the pace a little bit here on the onset. He still honestly wants to save some tires for the end of the race. Just 17 years old, won the Snowball Derby a couple of seasons ago. In fact, he was one of the hottest drivers in America last year coming into Salem. That guy, that's a good story right there with this team, because this race car was not to their liking early in the day yesterday. Travis Braden, the former ARCA Race Super Series champion, running here, the first opportunity for him full-time in ARCA this year.
Yeah, and he won the 2016 Winchester 400. We talk about that track and how grueling that super late model race is. He finished second in that race a year ago to Noah Gragson, ahead of Chandler Smith, who told us, you know what, I screwed up on the last restart. It's been playing on his mind. He was leading the race, late going in that super late model special, bumped the wall in turn 4, lost the lead, lost the race late in the going. So he wants to make certain that he is ready to go here. Smith in the number 20. replaying that in his mind before he got here. That certainly will play on his mind as we're within the final 50 laps here in the Kentuckiana Ford Dealers 200.
What a big opportunity for Josh Berry with Chad Bryant Racing, currently running in the top 5. Rounding out that top 5 is the 28 for MDM Motorsports, Sheldon Creed. He needs a long run. That converted off-road specialist, now running on the oval tracks, on pavement, although he was pretty good on dirt and DeCoin last year. But Sheldon Creed looking good. He was the 2014 Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series Pro Light champion.
And as a couple years ago is when he got his one and only start here at Salem Speedway in an ARCA car and crashed out. He said, I just hit the wall in turn 3 and ended my day. That team did not have a chance. MDM Motorsports, we keep talking about, they intended on coming here with all 3 teams and getting some practice and testing laps, but that got rained out on Monday. So Sheldon, learning as we go, we know he can adapt to just about anything here at Salem Speedway.
We saw the 41 of Zane Smith. He's currently running in 6th. Remember, hashtag MavTV. And check out this, cheering on Daddy and Riley Herbst today. Beautiful Sunday for some ARCA racing on MavTV.
That's an awesome picture. We wish Chris and the team with Riley Herbst, the Gibbs team, they are running really strong. They're running 7th now, young man and young lady watching this.
This is true. A lot of caster actually in the front setup for Josh Berry here, and our fans are so observant here. NASCAR Jeff, a great shot right there. Thank you so much for watching today on MavTV.
Who's cutting some vinyl here? Haley Prater at home watching. Hey, Haley, that's Thomas Prater's sister. Good to see
we
you.
miss her at the racetrack.
Yes, we do.
Moosey, they call him Tom Moose Prater. Let's go down to Mike Wallace.
Well, I'm here in Zane Smith's pit area. We've seen you stall the car during their last round of pit stops. But you know what they said? Marty Lindley says, well, we got to stall, but the great part is we come out 6th, we get to line up on the outside, which they wanted to do. He says all bets are off and everything. They're going for the win, hammer down. They're looking to win this race again.
Zane Smith going for 2 in a row here today. One on the short track a couple of weeks ago on the Fairgrounds Speedway Nashville, and now trying to do what he came so close to doing last fall here. He was leading with 4 laps to go. Austin Terrio passed him. He said, I learned something from that to save my stuff, and that's all he's been doing, the driver of the 41 today.
And that was a 60-lap run to the finish that cost him that run because he didn't have 5 more laps of tires left underneath his machine. Here we go.
Eckes fires coming off of turn number 4 easily to the lead of this one. Travis Braden in that number 27 car in 2nd. He tries to get to the top side, but man, here comes Josh Berry in a hurry. Berry's got a great run down the backstretch, side by side, trying to head into 2nd.
And the emerging urgency here is coming to 4. Take the inside, let's go 2 wide, let's go 3 wide. However we can do this, the car's running 5th and 6th and 7th, need a lane to run, and they're willing to take the bottom risk right now. Travis Braden dropping back in the 27.
And I don't have this confirmed, but I believe that the 27 of Travis Braden took 2 tires that last stop to get that track position. So I believe that's exactly what happened, and that would explain why he's dropping back just a little bit here as well, with all these guys in front of him with fresh rubber.
And there's no dictation on what 6 tires you put in your pit box. So if you went with 3 sets of right sides, he's got what he's got.
Zane Smith, how about that? Already up to 2nd. Forget about what happened on pit road. Stall the car out, no problem. This kid is on a roll from Huntington Beach, California. We call him the California Kid. Battling with New York's Christian Eckes. Both of them teenagers at the top of the field here now with 43 laps to go.
And both have made the commitment to move to Race Central, the Charlotte, the Queen City. That's where they live every day. They're living, breathing in this environment. Christian's homeschooled and actually goes online to continue his high school honors classes. We have Zane Smith out of high school, learning every lap here, trying to advance his way through with an eye from Toyota and MDM, the best team that has proven thus far to answer what the Vendor Union Motorsports team has done in the last several seasons.
Don't forget about Chad Bryant Racing. Josh Berry right there, and right now he's racing with some teenagers around him. All teenagers, 1st, 2nd, and 4th, and Josh Berry currently runs in that middle spot. There is Sheldon Creed battling with another teenager. Those are a pair of MDM cars, Sheldon Creed in the 28 and Chase Purdy in the number 8.
And if Creed holds position here, he will lead this race with the point lead. That's his main goal. He told me, I need to keep the car under me. No matter where I finish, I've got a big picture in mind. Love this racetrack, but I really have to be good on these tires to finish this race and get a lot of points out of here.
Here comes Chandler Smith. Oh, hold on, Mike Basham right there. Wow, that came up in a hurry for Chandler Smith. Was on the inside, had to back out of the throttle pedal just a little bit, and now right behind that 22 once again.
And Basham has just developed a recent problem. He's on the lead lap back in 13th position. A great run for him. That team is just based 35 miles due east of here. They went home last night, changed the motor in that number 34. They just now went down a lap here in this race.
Got here late in the morning to run this race here today, and the ARCA Racing Series officials say, hey, that's A-OK. They had the right to do that. And what a great move by Mike Basham and Daryl Basham. Daryl's been a long-time competitor here in the ARCA Racing Series himself.
That team has the heart of gold, and Mike Basham and racing here at Salem between here and the dirt tracks, these are the tracks we see Mike Basham run so well year after year, and just his third Salem start here.
The ARCA camera for Riley Herbst on board with him. Herbst still running in 7th. I feel like Riley Herbst has been in 7th just about all race long.
You know, he's been as far back as 10th, but not any worse than 10th or 11th. I'd say it's been a great run as we go on board the ARCA coolers, on board of the number 18 of Herbst. We see him near the wall. He wasn't really doing that in practice. He wasn't doing more than 4 or 5 laps and coming in and getting that car adjusted. So tip of the cap to Booty Barker and that team and the number 18, getting that car right for this young man this late in the going.
You know, Marty Lindley told Mike Wallace, we're going to go for it. Well, Zane Smith is not on the back bumper of your leader, Christian Eckes. He's a couple car lengths back, so I don't know if Zane knows something just to save those tires a little bit more, but that has allowed Chandler Smith to pull right up to his back bumper. Chandler Smith in the number 20.
Sun's peeking back out at Zane Smith. We got from the team. They had actually went 2 rounds up on the track bar and changed those tires for Zane Smith. So a bigger adjustment than some may expect for a car that's been fast, rode for a while. So they made the adjustment for these final 47 laps under green, hopefully, for this team with that fresh rubber.
Slowly closing back in on leader Christian Eckes. The Brat Pack, as they like to call them, around the North Carolina area with Christian Eckes, Zane Smith, and so many others. Chase Purdy involved there, Harrison Burton. They hang out a lot. They're friends, but when they get on the racetrack, listen, they're rivals. They all want the victory. Chandler Smith, another one of those young up-and-comers, trying to pull to the inside of Zane Smith.
And the yellow number 22 is loving this. The driver, Josh Berry, closing on this battle. Those two cars continue to tussle. They're giving a bit more wear. They're not able to use the entire racetrack where they want to as they battle for position with it. Again, Basham off the pace. It's a 2-wide split around Basham on the inside and outside.
And unfortunately for Chandler Smith, he's going to lose a spot there. Backed off his momentum going down the backstretch, heading into the corner because of that. And Josh Berry capitalized.
Great move by Berry. I'm telling you, this kid looks like he's been here for 10 years in the 22.
Chandler Smith finished 5th at Nashville, his first race here in the series, leading another pole, 2 straight poles in his first 2 attempts at this series, and now challenging late in the going here, under 30 to go.
Something to be said about practicing and testing with teams or going online or using simulators. Chandler Smith has gone out and raced a bunch of races for as young as he is to get in this position to say, okay, where can I pass him? Passed him clean, kept on going. Was not an issue. Didn't hesitate. Got the spot from Berry. Away he goes toward the front.
Chandler Smith back to 3rd, but it's Christian Eckes who leads with 30 to go. Here we go. It's time to make history today in the ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards. Chandler Smith in that black car just moved into 2nd, past Zane Smith in the 41. Zane Smith not as fast as we thought he would be. And now here comes Chandler Smith on Christian Eckes, but here's the move he made on Zane Smith in the corner.
Big sacrifice going to the bottom and getting the gas so much sooner than Zane Smith on the outside was the 20 of Chandler Smith. Zane had to let him go. He had the line.
He cut him off a little bit. Chandler Smith definitely coming off the corner, went right up the racetrack to get back to the line he needed to enter the next corner. 20 laps to go. Sideways for Chandler Smith off of turn number 2.
Taking a bite away at that lead differential. It's a .473 second difference. Last lap, that's the interval between 1st and 2nd. Eckes back to Smith. He's cut a little bit off of that. He's charging hard here in the late stages.
Eckes going after his first series win. Finished 2nd last year. 4 top 5 finishes for him, but he is hungry. He's ready. He's sick and tired of top 5 finishes. Told me he wants to get the big W, but so does Chandler Smith. And Chandler Smith, at 15 years old, is trying to become only the 2nd 15-year-old to win in series history.
He's going to have to wait a lap as Joe Graff's number 77 on the inside up at turn number 2 will prevent that pass. If Smith goes to the bottom in turn 3, I will get a hero card from Chandler, who will forever be my hero if he passed him there.
Frankie Kimmel, the son of 10-time champion Frank Kimmel, spotting for Chandler Smith here today. The Kimmels know this racetrack like the back of their hands. He is coaching Chandler Smith, trying to get by Christian Eckes in the later stages of this race. this is going to get good.
3 generations of Kimmels have raced here. Frank Kimmel, a 9-time race winner, 10-time series champion. You talk about successes. That Kimmel name is forever present here in this area.
And Eckes knows he's there. He knows he's there. You see how he tried to block his momentum coming off of turn number 2? I'm sure his spotter telling him right now where Chandler Smith is running. And Chandler Smith is on his back bumper. He's there. We got a fight going around some slower cars. Brett Holmes and also Travis Braden now a lap down after starting second on this most prior restart.
Strategy did not work with just those 2 tires on the 27, unfortunately.
What a battle, Mike Wallace, we are watching. What do you think?
Well, Bob, we do have a battle going on here at Salem with Chandler Smith inside of the 15 car. Venturina Motorsports is going wild down here. They have 3 cars parked here. 2 of them are battling for the win. They're both really young guys.
Yeah, 15 years old for Chandler Smith, 17 years old for Christian Eckes here. Closing in on 10 laps to go. Chandler is hurried. He's not exuding any patience right now. He wants to get back to the lead.
And as much as these teams share the lead, the 20 car Smith knows he's going to be better out front of Eckes if he can get around him. He took a big gap and difference when he got ahead of Eckes about 25 laps ago. Then fortunate return here, though, to the bottom of turn 1, Bob.
No contact just yet. Close-quartered racing coming off of turn number 2. Rub and bump down the back straightaway. The battle for the lead. Eckes still has that momentum on the outside and is able to keep the lead.
Great move by Smith, not getting into the 15. I've seen so many times where late in the going, tires are worn, the bottom car can do nothing but wash up in turns 3 and 4 in a battle. That was a great move by Smith to hang on and not touch his teammate on the outside.
What a move by Eckes right there. Pinched him again coming off of turn number 2, trying to stop the momentum of Chandler Smith. This is a battle among 2 of the hottest young drivers in America today here in the ARCA Racing Series.
How long can this 15 of Eckes hold him off? There's lap cars ahead of him too.
Oh no, they rub a little bit coming off of turn number 2 once again. But look at the talent that both of these drivers are showing right now. The JBL onboard camera for Christian Eckes leading the field over Chandler Smith, who is right there on his left rear quarter panel. There you see him. Here comes Smith again.
His spotter, both spotters are doing a masterful job for these teams. Eckes on the inside when he can get to the bottom to try to pinch off the charge of that black 20.
Eckes is running a smart race right now, holding his line and cutting him off here, right here, coming off of turn number 2, and they make contact. They make contact this time. Chandler Smith is there. No cutting him off anymore. Side by side for the lead going into the high banks in 3.
Leaned on that quarter panel just long enough, but Eckes, his foot through the floorboard in turn 3 to get that lead back.
Christian Eckes is showing some talent right now. He never backed off. He just wrestled that wheel, getting a little bit sideways after that contact, able to keep his focus out the front windshield, and still leads this time by. It'll be 6 laps to go. Both of these drivers going for their first victory here in the series.
The simple difference, it could be Eckes' experience here in the ARCA Racing Series machine. It's his 3rd race here on this racetrack in the ARCA Racing Series. His crew chief, Kevin Reed, has prepared both of these cars. He said it comes down to the drivers. I prepare the car. We work through the team. Billy Venturini, the other crew chief in the mix here with Smith. These drivers now will decide who will win this race.
Zane Smith riding in 3rd. Just in case the top 2 have a little trouble, he's there to pounce in a hurry. But that car, I don't think to Zane's liking late in the go. 5 to go here at Salem.
Made that big swing with that 2 rounds adjustments for the 41 of Smith. Now they have to figure, they have to guess throughout practice. What will my car do at that point in the race? The guessing game is down to these 2 machines off of turn number 2 within sight of the finish.
Does Chandler Smith have anything left? He's been punishing that race car, punishing those tires, trying to work to the inside of Christian Eckes. Eckes has been just basically riding his line. Now 3 laps to go. Can Chandler get there again?
Well, lap traffic will certainly help him, Bob. There's 3 or 4 cars just ahead. One's a bit off the pace. Will Kimmel did come down pit road in that number 69 machine, so he has the experience. No doubt will be in the veteran. He's the next car that the leader will encounter in that black and red fast diesel fuel systems Ford. Perhaps he'll give way as Natalie Decker just did.
All slower cars, we're told in the drivers meeting this morning, to pull to the inside and not hinder the performance of the lead lap race cars, especially when you're battling for the lead. And right now, there's Eckes and Chandler Smith. The white flag is in the air, Jim.
To turn 1, this is Smith's best chance. Now he goes down
oh,
the wall.
Chandler Smith hard into the wall. Trouble for the 15-year-old battling for the win here at Salem today. Christian Eckes For the second consecutive race, we'll have a first-time race winner here in the ARCA Racing Series. Eckes from New York takes the win. Kevin Reed, the crew chief, down there with Mama Venturini. All sorts of hugs down there. Kathy, just exuberation down there for this team, but just a heartfelt disappointment for Chandler Smith. He gave it his all, pushed the car going into the corner, and that wall on that 33-degree banking reached out and bit him.
He had to change his line. He had to do something different to get around Eckes. He chose the outside, or perhaps the tire was going down into turn one at that moment, giving every ounce. Kevin Reed, always emotional after victories. I'm telling you what, Chandler Smith put on a show. This full house at Salem got a great show here today.
Let's go down to Mike.
Well, guys, I tell you what, this guy is a master at calling these races. He's won Daytona. You just won Salem. What do you got to say?
Man, it's all these guys from Venturini Motorsports. We've got 12 guys that work in the shop, and we run 4 teams on a regular basis. Billy Venturini and Kathy and Bill gives us everything we need to work with, and I just couldn't say any more. I mean, I keep these guys away from their families and their friends, and we're just been able to make it happen.
Well, Billy Venturini, you're a car owner. I think Mom's actually the car owner, but tell us your thoughts, man. You had 2 cars right there at the end today.
Yeah, cars were great, man. Both race car drivers are awesome. Toyota's amazing to work with. You know, we've really come a long way this year. Last year was a little bit of an off year, but right now I think we're trying to establish ourselves as the best team in this series. And it's going to take a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication to get back there, but we're about there, I think. 3 poles, 2 wins. I mean, good start.
That's called a statement. There you go, guys. Crew chief, car owner, they're thrilled. We're going to victory lane.
Chandler Smith, with a hard lick into the wall, has climbed out of his number 20 race car and being helped across the racetrack by ARCA Racing Series officials. And there he goes.
It was not a decision by the driver.
Something broke in the right front of that race car. We thought initially he maybe tried to go to the top side of the racetrack, but something happened in the right front on that Venturini Motorsports car, and because of that, Chandler Smith hard into the wall. Major impact here at Salem Speedway.
Rode out the turn 2. He's down with the medical folks and doing the Kowicki Polish victory lap. Is your race winner for the first time in the ARCA Racing Series. Love it. Eckes the winner here.
We'll be right back here to Salem. Congratulations, Eckes. We just had of the Kentuckiana Ford Dealers 200 at Salem Speedway for the ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards. I'm Bob Dillner, James Trado alongside. That man is now an ARCA Racing Series winner. Congratulations to Christian Eckes. Mike Wallace is downstairs with him.
It's outstanding here in victory lane at the high banks of Salem. Christian Eckes put on an incredible job. Kevin Reed, Billy Venturini. Hey, man, that was incredible. Tell us what happened.
Oh, man. Dude, what a day. I knew we had a really fast race car on long runs, and our JBL Camry was it was so fast on race runs and longer we ran. Chandler gave me a good run there, but, you know, as a whole, you know, just what a day, man. It's been such a drought lately with wins and stuff. It's really emotional to be back here, and just as a whole, I mean, I can't believe this, man. Like, literally, I haven't won since the Derby, and I think this beats the Derby. I mean, it might be a smaller race, but it's actually probably be even bigger, but at the same aspect.
Uh-oh. You know what's going to happen here. That's the Venturini lip kiss there by Big Bill. Of course, it's a tradition for the Venturini team. And
Wait a minute. I want this, baby.
So you're saying it's a little bit bigger than the Derby. And what about the last lap crash? Could you see that happening behind you where Christian got, or 20 got in the wall?
No, honestly, I could not. I hope he's all right. He hit pretty hard, but man, I'm just so happy for these guys. Like Kevin, I'm so happy.
Well, look who's here. These two were, I was so excited. Mom and Dad, it's great to be here for an ARCA win, the Salem High Banks. I tell you what, as a proud owner of a driver myself, having your mom and dad here would just wrap it up for us.
It means a lot to have them here. You know, they're my biggest supporters, and to have them here, it means a lot. And just, man, I can't believe this. I really can't. It's by far the best day of my life.
Outstanding. What did that kiss feel like, man?
It's the best kiss ever. I've been waiting for that one for a long time.
Well, there you go, guys. A jubilant team here for Venturini Motorsports. They won at Salem. Big Bill got the lip kiss done. Everything's good.
I tell you what, when he won the Snowball Derby, he kissed the snowball on top of that Tom Dawson trophy, and he said it was the best kiss of my life. And now that kiss from Bill Venturini, definitely just a little bit better. This kid is going places.
And compounding that, he told me in Nashville, they have a deal almost signed where he's got an announcement forthcoming.
Yes, he does.
The pressure certainly was on. I asked this crew chief before the race, is it more pressure on the kid? He said, I think he's feeling it. He needs to win.
Maybe a perfect time to make that announcement this week, and it has some big-time implications for his future. Zane Smith winds up in that second spot after the win at Nashville a couple weekends ago. Sheldon Creed, top 5 finishes.
Just top three finishes
in
3 races.
Exactly. Pretty impressive for Sheldon Creed, now the point leader here in the ARCA Racing Series. Josh Berry, great run for him with the big-time team, and Chad Bryant Racing would like to see maybe a honeymoon in Talladega after he gets married or something.
Bring it on.
That would be awesome. Maybe get married on the front stretch. Who knows? Chase Purdy with a top 5 run in his second attempt here.
Riley Herbst, hey, congratulations, a win for them. He doesn't like this joint, guess what? Salville, the salve is on, the wounds are healed, finishes 6th here today in the number 18.
Got to mention Colby Howard, Brandon Grasso, the rookies are really good runs, and Chandler Smith winds up in 10th after that hit in the first turn wall.
10 cars on the lead lap, which says a lot about the quality and the pace of this series. 10 cars on the lead lap, probably the most in a couple of years.
Back down to Mike.
We're here with Zane Smith. Great second place run after a great win at Nashville. Sum up your day for us.
Yeah, for big picture racing, this was an awesome day for us. Because I know I'm going to be going at it with this guy right here for the championship. So to be, again, one spot better helps us a ton. But congrats to Christian. That was a ton of fun racing with these General tires. It was a huge tire management game, but when we put 4 on, the thing was hooked up. So also thanks to Icon, La Paz, Margarita Mix, Speed Vegas, Ultra Wheel, all the fans that came out today. It was a ton of fun.
Outstanding. Another second place, first at Nashville, second here at Salem for Zane Smith.
How about this? Now 4 races for Zane Smith here at this racetrack, 4 top 10 finishes. He likes Salem indeed. Joe Graff Jr., the Northeasterner, the rookie, winds up with a good 11th place run. Will Kimmel, the local favorite here. He's the hometown guy. Had a big doing at his shop the other day. 2,000 people there. 12th place for him. He's not going to be satisfied, but still a 12th place run. Brett Holmes, Travis Braden, and
they
Mike
were both
Basham.
Factors. They were all 3 of those were factors late in the going, running within the top 10, and then the tire strategy played out for the cars that finished ahead of them. They lost laps quickly with those worn tires.
I'm sure a big disappointment for Thad Moffitt here today, the grandson of Richard Petty. Christian Eckes, the winner. He continues to celebrate here in Salem with his crew chief, Kevin Reed.
The ARCA Racing Series, presented by Menards, has been brought to you by General Tire. Anywhere is possible. Protect Plus, official licensee for DuPont air filtration products. And by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world.
What a day it's been, especially for that man, Christian Eckes, 17 years old, the winner here in the ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards at Salem Speedway. Let's take a look at what shook down in this 200-lap race here today, because there was plenty of action all over this half-mile racetrack. Chandler Smith, the pole sitter, he looked good early. Christian Eckes, though, right there, always in the mix. The young guns looking good. Zane Smith there as well.
And this was the story of the race. The 15 we're riding on with was Christian Eckes, and the number 20 of Chandler Smith set the tone throughout the day today. Others took the lead, but not as often as these 2 teammates from Venturini Motorsports.
Yeah, they swapped the lead several times throughout this race. Venturini Motorsports very strong here today. Zane Smith out in front of this field at times, and look at the little wiggle. That slower car there on the inside of Mike Basham really kind of slowed the momentum of Chandler Smith, but he was not done.
And the yellow 22 of Josh Berry was a factor throughout the race. He finished 4th and made his statement here today. But when it came down to it, the adjustment was just right for the Venturini team to beat out the 41 of Zane Smith, not only out of pit road, but stay ahead of that young Charger.
Look at this. A traffic jam indeed for Christian Eckes, trying to hold on for the victory here today. Chandler Smith did not give up, but boom, hard into the wall on the final lap. We believe that he might have broken something on the right front suspension. Christian Eckes wins the race. And by the way, we had a mishap on pit road earlier today. Both of those crew members are A-OK and have been cleared. The next race for us here on MAV TV as well as Lucas Oil Racing TV. The ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards, May 20th at Toledo Speedway.
And what's neat about that is all these short trackers we just saw will be back, including Chandler Smith, who we understand is now being taken in the ambulance for assessment. So we were hoping to get a word with him, but his health is priority number one for us.
Indeed. The Venturini celebrating down there. Kevin Reed, the crew chief, with Christian Eckes and his family. Victorious today. History, the 103rd running of ARCA at this racetrack, and he is able to etch his name in the history books. Folks, it's been a blast here today.
You know what's been great about this? Everything changed. Everything came to fore. The 4 tires came on with 50 laps to go, which provided a great race for this packed house at Salem.
The antics here today that we saw here, just unreal. A great crowd on hand for so much great racing, and we enjoyed calling it all for you here. So for Jim Trado and Mike Wallace and everybody at the Lucas Oil Production Studios, I'm Bob Dillner. We thank you for watching the ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards on MAV TV. A big congratulations to Christian Eckes, 17 years old and a winner in ARCA.